All right, people, let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Let me. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, people. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, I've been thinking about it. We're going to kind of do a cold open here, just jump straight into it because we got some draft prospects that we got to talk about. What I was thinking that we could do is we could go over some of the quarterbacks, and then as you guys can see with like the position rankings, we can do quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. We can, maybe a little bit of dabble in some offensive linemen, maybe some defensive linemen as well. If you've ever heard about this website, this is the NFL Draft Buzz. They talk about just about every single. I mean, look at this scouting reports. Now, again, do I know what any of these numbers mean? No, absolutely not. Do they mean anything to me? No, absolutely not. Because it's like it's hard to put Nussmeier up here at 3 when it's like, dude got benched halfway through the season. Sorry to address that elephant in the room, but like he did not play the second half of games for LSU in the 2025 to 26 season. Now, did he have a good year last year? Yes, which is why LSU had a lot of hype and like Heisman hopes, national championship hopes, etc. But like to put him at 3, I'm a little eh. And so what I thought we would do today is go over a little bit of the prospects, talk about it, chat about it, maybe write a couple names down because truth is too. Here's another thing we got to do. We're gonna have to do a super edit video or something because I'm thinking. I don't know. Like I might want to do a mock draft. I might want to do, a top 50 prospects, top 100 prospects. I mean, considering the 5 major positions, defense, tackles, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. Like we could, like there's 5, and then you pick 10 from each. There's a quick 50. I don't know. I don't know. We'll look. But without any further ado, I'm glad you guys are here. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And you know what we could also do too is we could go around the horn a little bit and we could look at some other sports stuff that happened today. Like for example, my Pittsburgh Penguins. We beat up on Detroit. Good game. I believe it was 5-1, 6-1. In fact, let me just double check here. Let me just double check here. We'll do this real quick. Oh, and look at that. Even the Capitals. Capitals beat up on the Flyers 4-6. Let's la 5-1, so it was 5-1. Okay. Yeah, big game. And I think now they have a little bit of a comfy lead. Not a big one, but a kind of a comfy lead there in the. Let's go back to the wild card. Look at this, 92 points versus 89 points with the Islanders. So, anyways, all right, enough of that. Get out of here. Goodbye, NHL. We'll come back to you though. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you all for being here. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. The other thing, I know I talked a little bit about top prospects. But what I wanted to do too was I wanted to open up this channel a little bit, and we might do mock drafts. Because you go on to NFL.com and like they'll tell you straight up. They'll be like, well, let me tell you who the Raiders need. Here, look, NFL.com. Let me show you all so you see. Look at this. It's already begun. Mock drafts, teams, players. Let me go games, news, Pro Bowl teams, playoff pictures, games. These are just mock drafts. Where there's a little, like for example, this is still up in the air. People are like, oh, is AJ Brown going to the Patriots? Is Aaron Rodgers going to go to the Raiders? And it's like, is the news cycle that slow today where we gotta come up with a video NFL Teams, NFL IQ? No. Where? Teams. Dude, I swear the freaking team schedules, ways to watch game replays. Let's just do teams. Let's do, like, for example, the Bills. Are we just not loading because we don't want to load? Nope. Okay, we can always try ESPN here. Let's try ESPN. NFL. Sometimes it will give you. Sometimes it will give you. Yeah, like look at this for example. Like Ty Simpson, we could talk about Ty Simpson a little bit. Like, do college football starts matter when evaluating quarterbacks? Is water wet? The hell kind of question is that? Yeah, you know what? I want to put my livelihood, I want to put, you know, the mortgage, my family, all that, the house we have in Southern Florida, you know, West Texas, wherever I am, a coach or owner in the NFL. And, you know, I want to put everything on the line and go draft a guy that gets no snaps. Like, what the hell kind of question is this? Do starts matter? Hell yeah, starts matter. Like, yeah, let me go draft and risk, you know, let me go risk my reputation as like an NFL GM, an NFL coach by going and drafting a guy that sat on the bench next to the water boy all season. Like, what kind of questions? Are we that slow with NFL news that we gotta ask? Like, we gotta ask questions, or it's like, you know the answer to this. Quit. Here we go. There we go. All right, but look at there we go. Straightened out here. But like for example, Vegas on the clock needs quarterback, wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback, and offensive guard. And then the next pick will be New York. And then when you look at the draft, let me go over who the draft right now as we sit. And this is why I think we should get into doing mock drafts, because Jets, Raiders, Jets, and Cardinals, I feel like are going to stay pretty locked in at the top four. From Titans on down, I feel like we could have a little bit of movement. There could be persuasion where I could see the Chiefs trying to move up, because it's like, why not? Because I don't think the Chiefs expect to be drafting this high next year. You know what I mean? But you know, we could, because for example, if let's look at the Texans, for example. Like, if the Texans or the Dolphins, which I know it's really stupid because they just brought Malik Willis on and paid him the bag, but like, if the Dolphins trade up into the top five, let's address the elephant in the room. They're going to go get a quarterback. If the Texans trade up from the 28th spot into the top 10, top 7, they're going to draft a quarterback in CJ Stroud. Congratulations, you are officially on the clock, where it's like, hey dude, you either get us to a conference finals, or we're going to just move on from you, because we've seen how you have played in the last handful of conference championships. So, but as of right now, as you guys can see, we got Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, New York Giants, the Browns, Washington, New Orleans, Kansas City, the Bengals, the Dolphins. Dolphins have 2. I did not know that. Dolphins, Cowboys, and there's the other thing too. If the Dolphins have 2, they might trade away and trade out, or try to look for draft capital, you know, and try to get something for this pick, or get something for this pick because it's a top 15. Cowboys, Rams, Ravens, Bucks, Jets again, Lions, Vikings, Panthers, Cowboys. Did I already say the Cowboys? I did say the Cowboys. Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, Browns, Bears, Bills. Browns, Bears, Bills. Say that 5 times fast. The 49ers, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Seahawks. So those names will move around, obviously, and so I feel like we should probably do mock drafts. Not now, like it will take a little bit of editing and stuff to get it previewed and stuff. The way that I've done mock drafts in the past. Who's my NFL team? The Packers. I know that's, but like I don't. It is the Packers. Not gonna lie. But I've started to turn kind of into a player fan too. Like I like the Packers. I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I like Josh Allen and the Bills. Big on the Ravens. I was big on the Ravens last year. I thought the Ravens and Bills would run it back in the AFC Championship game, but nope. I hope Ness has success. It's unfortunate he was hurt most of last season. Yes, he was injured. He also got benched. Too. Now, could those have gone hand in hand, the benching and his injury? Probably. So, yeah. I want to see how much, because I've noticed with just how the quarterbacks are set up, it's Mendoza and then like a huge gap and then Ty Simpson, because nobody's talking about Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik, Cole Payton, Sawyer Robinson, Diego Pavia. Nobody's talking about any of these other guys. The only other quarterback that's getting a little bit of buzz is Ty Simpson, because people are thinking the Jets could reach and try to go get him, which I'm here to tell you, yeah, I think the Jets would reach and go get him. I would not be surprised, because we've seen this in the past. Look at what the Jets did with the 2 pick in 21. They went and got Zach Wilson. And then, what else? I mean, 24 was an interesting case, but like, I didn't think Washington needed to get a quarterback, and then they ended up getting Daniels. Patriots needed a quarterback. They ended up getting May. So I think we could find ourselves, and I know it probably feels like this every single season, but I would not be surprised if, here, let me go to the draft order one more time. So the draft order is the Raiders, Jets, and Cardinals, okay? I would not be surprised, because the Cardinals just got rid of Kyler Murray, okay? I would not be surprised if we get Mendoza going to the Raiders, Ty Simpson going to the Jets, and then Garrett Nussmeier going to the Cardinals. Would not be surprised. Titans don't need a quarterback. They just got Cam Ward, so no QB here, no QB here. There was rumors today that Deshaun Watson could be back, and he could be, number 1 starter week 1. Well, let's not also forget, hey, Shador and Dylan Gabriel are also on the team. So Browns don't need a quarterback, okay? Like, let's be real here. Washington doesn't need one. Saints, maybe. But I don't think the Saints would go out and get their quarterback till 2nd round, 3rd round, maybe. Because I think they're going to see what Tyler Shuck can do for him. Because if you look and if you remember, sorry, little dangly hairs are in my face. If you remember what the Saints' schedule, like their schedule was not favorable for them at the beginning of the year. They lost a lot of games early, and it was bad. But from November on, the best team in the NFC South was the Saints. Just the Bucks had that huge lead on everybody because they started their season 6-1 and split all the ties with everybody at the first part of the season. That they led the division and they're like the number 2 or number 3 team in the NFC overall. But then they hit that slide and then they just fell. But if you look at the last 6 weeks of the season, the Saints were playing the best football. That's where they got the majority of their wins. Tyler Shuck was playing fine. Now, it wasn't against huge playoff caliber teams, but knowing and watching the NFL lately, that's going to pick up a lot of buzz, and people are going to be talking about that a lot in the offseason, which I've already made a little short where I gave my way too soon division predictions. And one of them that I'm predicting is the Saints to win the South. I can see it. We're seeing a trend of young stars blossoming into being the leaders on their team and also leading their team to division titles. Like I think the East ultimately will be won by the Eagles, but when was the last time in the NFC East besides like the 90s Cowboys? When was the last time, or the 2010 Giants in the Eli Manning era when they were good and competing for Super Bowls? When was the last time a team did a three-peat with division championships? And so, like, you got Jackson Dart, you got Cam Ward, you got who else? Verdict. I'd still have the verdict down on Shador because no, I'm not. Not because of him. I'm just not picking the Browns to win the North. Hell no. No. The Browns are gonna win probably 5 games this year if they're lucky. But I mean, yeah. And so there will be buzz, and Tyler Shuck might. I think he'd get the media love and attention like that Dart got? Absolutely not. Because I don't know how many primetime games the Saints are going to get this year. If any, just considering how that, but then also like the Raiders with Mendoza, you know they're going to want to put at least one of the Kansas City games on Sunday Night Football. They're going to want to put Bo Nix against Fernando Mendoza on like a Thursday night. Like Mendoza, kind of like Cam Ward, is going to bring the eyes. Now, why the Titans didn't get as many primetime games as the Raiders might get, it's just branding, and it's who the teams are. People want to watch the Raiders, even with how just the history and how historic the Raiders are as a franchise. I would argue and say that's why they'd get a little bit more primetime than the Titans. But looking at all the teams, who's going to get the most primetime games? The Cowboys. We know this. But then after the Cowboys, we got the original 6 of like the Steelers. You're going to have the Bears with Williams. You're going to have the Eagles because it's the Eagles. 49ers, Chiefs, of course the Chiefs. Seahawks, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know if the Seahawks have as many primetime, because they're the defending champs. You got to give them primetime games, but like I don't know how many. But I would argue and say they probably have 4, maybe 5, because the other thing too is they're on the West Coast, and the West Coast does not get a lot of primetime games just because by the time kickoff starts in Seattle, 7 o'clock at night, it's 10 o'clock, New York time. So, yeah. If, which actually, let's go look this up. If the Seahawks get, let me see, Seahawks schedule, projected schedule. The Seattle Seahawks will open the 2026 NFL season at home on Wednesday, September 9th, 2026. Did read this and also know that the opener will not be against the Chiefs because of Mahomes' injury. They talked a little bit about that with just kind of like the buzz. Future opponents. Here we go. Okay, let me make this a little bigger. Oh, you gotta work for me, bruh. Come on. Okay. Nothing. Oh, this gives me nothing. This gives me nothing. Because, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's only 11 games. Oh, shoot. Where's the home opponent? Oh, hello. There we are. Okay. So, yeah. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. So, no Bills. Cowboys. If the Seahawks are on Sunday Night Football, it will be against the Cowboys. Or they could push it back and we could have Because again, you got to look at it from like, yes, kind of a narrative standpoint, but you have a healthy Patrick Mahomes, and you have Kenneth Walker coming back to Seattle. Why would you put that during a 10 a.m. slot? You know what I mean? Like, why would that be a 1 p.m. game on Fox? That would probably be a Sunday Night Football, Kansas City going to Seattle, return to Kenneth Walker, and then, oh, look at that. Oh, Kenneth Walker ran for 2 touchdowns and like 170 yards. Look at that. And he just absolutely embarrassed Seattle's defense. Look at that. It's as if, damn, we probably shouldn't have gotten rid of him. So, yeah. I could also see one of the Rams games is probably going to be prime time because, come on, if you watched any of the Rams Seahawks game, they were so entertaining. Sorry. OC, I think the Saints will take Carnell Tate. Lions are going to get Thanksgiving. Carnell Tate. No, I'm messing. Yeah, I could see the Saints doing something like that. I could. From what I've seen, the Saints are always a team where it's like, where the pick doesn't make sense, but like it works. It's like, oh, all right, sure. All right. So yeah, Ty Simpson, probably a lot of buzz on him. We will just see. Nussmeier, I think he's ranked a little high for my personal liking because I'm prisoner of the moment where I think Beck played in the national championship. Yes, he was a reason for all of Miami's losses last season with late game turnovers. But if I were to pick between these 3 quarterbacks, I'm picking Carson Beck. That's just me. Cade Klubnik, I think, is pretty evenly, no, not overrated, underrated, well rated, like kind of like, yeah, he should probably hover here. Just because, and this is what was so interesting about Clemson and Penn State, is you looked at Notre Dame. Notre Dame had Hartman, and then they had Riley Leonard, and then now they have CJ Carr. And like, that's 3 different starting quarterbacks in 3 separate years. All of those years, Cade Klubnik was the starter for Clemson. Drew Aller was the starter for Penn State. If I'm not mistaken, I think Nussmeier was the starter for LSU. Ty Simpson was the backup for Milroe, and then Milroe was the starter for 2 straight seasons. Because I was wondering who was the quarterback before Milroe. It was Bryce Young, but I mean, yeah. I'm seeing Miller Moss has hopped around. I don't know if Luke Altmaier was with Illinois. Let me see who else here. Yes, I think Jalen Daniels. I think he's been at KU this whole time. Haynes King has been at Georgia Tech this whole time. Kyron Jones has been at Virginia Tech this whole time. No, because he was with Miami. He was, and Wisconsin too. He tore his ACL in the Bama game, I think. And then these two goobers, not him, but he's been with Arizona for like the last, well, and he's also been with Notre Dame. There was one Arizona State backup quarterback that I swear that we've seen him on the sidelines for like the last, like, because that was so funny, is there are seniors that were with Arizona State like the bad years, like in 21 and 22 before, and 23 before like the big breakout year in 24. All right. But I think these two are pretty evenly ranked, like being right here. Just because, I mean, for hell's sakes, they were saying that Penn State was going to win the national championship. Like there was that dumb stat out there about how if you know Michigan was the number 2 team going into the preseason, Ohio State was the number 2 team going into, and so they just kind of assumed, oh well, Penn State's the number 2 team, so they should that no, like Penn State was 3-6 at one point in the season. So, also they typically, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Nuss has been with LSU the whole time. He was started back in 21. Yes. You're right. Holy. It's not clocking. It's not clocking it. Yeah, no, you're right. That, I forgot. Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah, good, Anakin. Good. Yes, he, see, and that just shows you, like, how much, like, the portal with transfers that, yeah, I forget, because, I think I watched one, I think it was the UCLA game in 21 with Jaden Daniels. But yeah, that just shows how much movement with the transfer portal that there is, because one, you don't get along with your coach for 1 year or something, and it's like they're out, they're gone. And even to switch up genres a little bit, college basketball, the 7-footer from Florida, that was like breaking news on ESPN, where it's like Florida's 7-footer has entered the portal, and it's like, dude, good on him. If some team wants to go pay him the bag, more power to him. Because and this is again just my own opinion. Like and we saw it especially with Kiffin at Ole Miss. If your coach wants to leave, because I was actually all in favor of loyalty, and like, your dog and your team for leaving, what is this BS? Because I was actually sitting on the fence, and I was sitting on the side of, we have so many, it was, one of them was the Missouri year against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Great matchup if the starters played. Like, there were 2 or 3 starters for Missouri that decided to sit out. But, like, all of Ohio State's starters, I don't know, maybe it was the big game, because that was, I think, their 2nd in a row or 3rd in a row that they lost. This was the year Michigan won the national championship, I believe. But, like, majority of their starters just decided, nope, I don't want to play in the bowl game. And it got pretty loud. That was also the year I think Jaden Daniels sat out in the bowl game, which, again, there's parts of me where it's like, if you win the Heisman, you can at least show up in the first half. I mean, Cam Ward sat the second half of the Pop-Tart Bowl. At least he played a little bit in it. And anyways, I digress. But, like, at one point in time with, like, bowl games, I was like, it should just be the New Year's 6, and they should just get rid of every other bowl game, because we're going to get to a point here where nobody's playing in bowl games, nobody cares anymore. But I think they've found a way to lasso players back in and given importance to bowl games, because I feel like we don't have as many opt-outs anymore, and people are actually playing. Because I do think there is a difference, don't get me wrong, that your Cam Ward, you suit up, you play phenomenal in the first half, and you sit the second half. Is it stupid? Yes. But at least you played, versus, like, ghosting your team, hitting the portal, and then if the portal doesn't work, you declare for the draft or something like that, because we have seen that in the past. What are your thoughts of Sam Levitt? I'm going to be honest with you. expectations are very. I would not fall into the hype of national championship if you're an LSU fan watching this. Whenever you're watching this, LSU fan, I would not fall into the hype or the trap of national championship hopes, because you go ask Clemson, Penn State, LSU last year as well, Florida. Remember Florida? Um, Even Arizona State last year with Jordan Tyson coming back and Sam Leavitt. Um, there were expectations that, yeah, Arizona State could go back to back. They could win the Big 12. And I'm going to be honest, I saw right through that, because Sam Leavitt progressed like with last season. Like he just it was a steady increase. But you cannot deny, looking at the games and watching the tapes, Cam Scatterbo carried half the time. And you look at the Peach Bowl game, like why Arizona State was so successful that year had to do in part with the defense, but then also when the defense wasn't, getting stops that they needed, he literally carried Arizona State. And I say the same thing when you look at Michigan's team with Blake Corum. Like, it was that weird, holy cow, where, or Saquon with Penn State, where this team is getting a lot of wins and they're getting a lot of recognition, and we're saying, oh, it's because of the quarterback. Like the quarterback's playing phenomenal, and it's like, actually, like if you watch the game, like there's just a huge momentum turn, and it's because they're running the football and playing complementary football. And I just think, with Scatterbo going in the NFL, I knew that the Sun Devils would not be the same. Like I knew it would be different. I did think though, with who they brought on board, like it could kind of stay around the same level maybe, but it just didn't. And Sam Leavitt was injured for a lot of games, and then he got the big win against Texas Tech, which was huge. But then after that, let me go look it up. I don't even remember. There was one. He had there's a theory out there, and I'm not trying to spread. It's like, oh, lies. But there's more to why he hit the portal than just money. Here, let me hold on. Where the hell is football? College football. Do college sports. No. There it is. I think it's alphabetical, so it's under NASCAR. Okay, let's go. Scores. Standings. Okay, where is... So they went 6-3. They went 6-3 in the Big 12. They were fourth. That's not too bad. 8-5 overall. Who did they lose to? So let me look. Oh my gosh, I hate how it cuts off halfway through. I'm trying to navigate this. Okay, yes, this Mississippi State game. Utah. Sam Leavitt did not play this game. See, Sims did. So there's one. And then, yeah, look at the final 4 games. Sims is the starter. Now, he did get them 3 wins. I will give him credit. He did set a record. I can't remember which record. It was against... I think it was the Colorado game. The rushing. It was something... It was like a... Not a LeBron-esque stab, but it was kind of like okay. And I think he also it must have been the rushing one, because I think he broke Scatterbo's rushing record or something like that. I don't know, but yes, this game right here, because they just beat Texas Tech, and I don't think they were ranked. No, they were ranked. Okay, they were ranked 24th in the country, and I think this is also when Houston started to get ranked. But then Houston turned around, and then they lost to a 3-win West Virginia team, and then they weren't ranked again for the remainder of the season. But the rumor, again, just a rumor. I don't know how true it is. But what the rumor is that another reason why Sam Levitt left is he broke his hand playing like ping pong or billiards or whatever, and coach wasn't having it, and so coach said, hit the portal, bud, and then that's why he did. Again, I don't know how factual this is. That's just kind of like the legend, the urban legend that's floating around, because no, or was it his foot? Because I remember he was wearing a boot. I can't remember, but like it was on like a, hold on. Oh, injury basketball, there was. So it was, yep. As of late March, like I know there's PR that would say no, he did not injure it, despite the rumors, which, I mean, you know, you're going to say that, but that is what the rumor was, and knowing how, I mean, let's be real here. I'm going to take a generalized guess, especially after DJ Lagway's comments about being in Florida. I'm going to guess Sam Levitt wasn't in class majority of the time. And so it's not like he was rehabbing and going to class. Okay, let's be real here. They're professional football players at the college level. Guys probably had a lot of free time, you know, in the clubhouse, and they were probably playing some hoops, and that's probably when his foot got hurt. I don't know. I don't know the full story, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, they're not going to, because here's the other thing. Why would this even be, like, who would think of, oh, it was a football injury, when they know, if you've watched like videos and behind the scenes of like ASU football, like, yeah, they got ping pong tables, basketball hoops, billiards, video games, like, to just keep the guys engaged and stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay. So, which I don't think it makes him any worse of a player, but I think, yeah. I don't think he's a sellout either for going to LSU, because here's what's going to happen is LSU has I think, let's go look at LSU's potential schedule this upcoming season. Yeah, oh yeah, hello. We're going to find out right here, right now, if Sam Levitt's ready for the big leagues. And then we're going to find out again if Sam Levitt's ready for the big leagues. Like, I know it sounds really stupid. I really, I do genuinely feel like there is a difference in college football. Like, the levels of competitiveness between the SEC, the Pac-12, the ACC. Like Duke, for example, we know Duke and we know Virginia. They were the two top two teams in the ACC. If you throw Duke up against Ole Miss, come on, Virginia played Texas A&M. Like, I think we know who's winning those games, and it's kind of been exposed like throughout like kind of the playoffs, but like why we got a 12 team and then we got rid of like letting a Boise State type of team go or something is because the times that Cincinnati went, they got the privilege of going and losing to Alabama. But like freaking every single time, it didn't matter if you went undefeated or not, that Big Ten team that was waiting for you or that SEC team that was waiting for you, look at the TCU game. Now, TCU earned every right to be there because of like how their regular season went. They upset Michigan and they beat Michigan, and then but they got boat raced by Georgia. And I really genuinely feel, even though they're all Power 5 and they're in the Power 5 whatever, I don't think all conferences are built the same. And I really do feel that, I mean, we're seeing it now, the kind of resurgence of the Big Ten, because they've won the last 3 national championships. But the top teams in the SEC will always stay the same, where Georgia will always be Georgia, and Georgia will always, like, yeah, Georgia against Indiana, I'm intrigued what that matchup could have been. Or I don't think Bama had. I mean, even before Ty Simpson got injured in the Rose Bowl, Alabama was getting steamrolled by Indiana. But I mean, you throw Ole Miss, you see how far Ole Miss got after beating Georgia. Ole Miss against Indiana, I want to see that matchup. Ole Miss against Ohio State, I want to see that matchup. But with Sam Levitt going from the Big 12 to the SEC, this one is going to be a big one. Like, all 3 of these games are going to be absolutely huge. And if LSU, here's the funny thing, there's going to be huge buyer's remorse if by the end of week 3 LSU is 0-3. There will be huge buyer's remorse, and people will go, well, is the Lane Kiffin experience working? Because Florida, I think Florida started. Florida started 1-2 because they lost their first 2 games. No, they won their first game against like Long Island University, like 70 something to 10, but then they lost to then they lost their next 2 games and then proceeded to everybody was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? But again, I thought Florida would win at least 8 games last year, because you look at what that schedule was. Of their 12 games, 10 of them were against a ranked matchup, and I'm on record, and I'll still say it. If Florida won at least 8 games last year, they would have been in the college playoff. They would have, because they would have gone, well, we see you've played all these ranked teams. JMU, did you play any ranked teams? No? Okay. And then easiest decision for them to make. But Clemson, these 3 games are big games. Auburn, no. This game doesn't have the same amount of aura as it would. This Tennessee game might be a big game. But again, Bama will always be Bama, and Texas is getting up there. I think Texas is starting to gain a little bit more respect. Even though they missed the college playoff last year, but again, if LSU by 6, if by the end of week 6 LSU is not 4-2 or 5-1, I think they hit the panic button, because they have and then look at this too. Home game. These are all home games. Could you imagine Sam Levitt going to Kyle Field? It's over. It's over. Not a lot of, no. Now, I'd give Sam Levitt a lot of praise, kind of like Dante Moore with Oregon, where Dante Moore's most impressive win, unless he wins a national championship, will be winning during the whiteout against Penn State. Like, that game was huge. That was an absolutely huge game. And so I'd give Sam Levitt a lot of credit if this was in Texas and he won that one on the road. But yeah, UK, I mean, come on. Like, no. Plus, all of Kentucky's starters went to Arizona State. So it's like, come on now. And then Auburn, not the same. This, like I said, this will probably be a big game. Because this stretch right here will have implications not only on the college football playoff, if they can get a 10 seed or an 11 seed. Not only that, but is LSU going to compete and face off against Ole Miss, Georgia, Bama in the SEC championship game, or Texas A&M. I do think Texas A&M could reach the SEC championship game. I would have. This is me too. I would have had Georgia. No, yeah, Georgia, Texas A&M last year. Like when the SEC championship game like got announced, like this is who it was. I like the fact that all three of them were tied, and Texas A&M like had the. It was like, huh, but it worked out. It was whatever. But all right, let's keep going. Let's keep yapping, people. Sorry about that. Yeah, Big Ten and SEC. Yep, Big Ten and SEC rule. I wouldn't be surprised if the SEC or Big Ten won the national championship this year. What would absolutely floor me though is if where is if you had a team like I don't think the Utah Utes could win it. I'm looking at the Big 12. Point I'm trying to make is the Big 12. Like, what team from the Big 12 could win it? Because Baron Morton's not there anymore. BYU is going to be good, but I think BYU is going to have some hiccups here and there along the way. Kansas State maybe, but like how long are we going to love Kansas State before we realize maybe Kansas State's not the best? I mean, look, dude, 6-6. Oklahoma doing a worst to first kind of situation. That's happened before. See the Arizona State Sun Devils because they were the worst and then they won it. There's a lot of buzz with Colorado and the little Wilson brother, but I'm not buying in on it. No. Nope. Ew. Man, it's tough. I think. Yeah, oh man. Okay. Right now, I'll pick BYU to win the conference. Yeah, give me BYU. I think Bear Bachmeier is a better quarterback than Devin. Give me. Shoot. I don't know about these two teams. I don't know about this team. Hoover's with Indiana. Give me BYU against Kansas State. It's yucky. I don't like it. It's yucky. But that's what I'll pick. And then because like I look at the ACC too. No one's winning. No one's winning the national championship unless Clemson has some like phenom. No, it's not happening. I would absolutely laugh if the Ducks won it because I still think the Ducks are like a Pac-12 team. Kind of. Like, I know they're not, but it'd be funny if that happened. Notre Dame. I could see Notre Dame winning the national championship. Um, yeah, it is. It is slim pickings the second you get out of Clemson, Florida, Clemson, Florida State, maybe Miami. So Clemson, Florida State, Miami, BYU, Kansas State, maybe Oklahoma State, and maybe I'm not gonna buy in on the Bears. Mm-mm. Same with the Bearcats. Like them, like it. Eh. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's probably going to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. There's way too many. Yeah, there's way too many teams. Because out of all the Big 12 and the ACC teams that I just listed, I think Notre Dame is the best out of all of them. All right. All right. All right. Let's keep it rolling, shall we? Um, Diego Pavia, I think he. I think the. I don't know. Like, because everybody freaking compares him to Johnny Manziel. And, like, if that is where, like, his ceiling is and that's his comparison, which, like, whatever. Like, I don't think. Truthfully, like, with where the NFL is now, with antics of, like, the, F Indiana thing after losing the Heisman, like, I really don't think if you're not like the number one guy at whatever position, whether it's receiver, running back, or quarterback, I feel like we're in the day and age of the NFL where like they're not going to waste time. You know what I mean? Because like let's look at the Cardinals for example, and this is why I think the Cardinals. This is why I think the Cardinals will probably get a quarterback. You go look at the Cardinals roster, bottom of the NFC West. They just got rid of Kyler Murray. They have Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, and Keaton Slovis. Okay? Out of all those guys, Jacoby Brissett obviously will be the starter because he was the starter after Kyler Murray got benched. But you compare these quarterbacks to who we got, in the draft class. And if it comes to, well, we'd rather take a young guy in the draft, and then it turns into, okay, best of the best when it gets to the young guys. Who would you rather take? Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck, Diego Pavia, like who has the most distractions? Who's the biggest distraction? Who, and I think it would come down to those kind of things. Like I do think those are tangibles that are very real. Like very real where yeah, I mean we're kind of seeing it now. No, never mind. No, never mind. I was going to talk about the NBA, but never mind. All right, let's move. Where? I'll put it like with Nussmeier and Beck. Truth is, if we're to, yeah, like the Cardinals pick or the, let's go back to the draft. Back to the draft. Yeah, if we're sitting here with the Cardinals, or we scroll down a little bit and we're sitting here with the 10th pick or the 11th pick, like with the Cowboys or the Dolphins, there could be a conversation where it's like, who Like, do we think Carson Beck would we be foolish to pick Carson Beck and make him a Dallas Cowboy? Would he embarrass us because it's like, oh, he went to a Mavericks game and ripped off his shirt to get the, or he gets Twitter fingers after a loss. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Those are stupid, stupid examples. I can't even think of one right now. I mean, we're seeing it right. I'll put it. We're seeing it right now with Puka Nacua. Where people are saying that he bit a woman, and it's like, I watched the video. It looks like we just got a woman throwing ass on him. I don't see no biting. Also, it looks like he's asleep during the video. But again, I don't know. We'll leave that there. Yeah. Is Diego Pavia the type of quarterback? Okay, between here we go. Between Diego Pavia or Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck, which headline of breaking news, quarterback blah blah was caught, smacking ladies of the night at the local club. Who are we gonna see? Honestly, probably Carson Beck because he's got that dog in him. But no, I'm teasing. But I don't know. I think when it gets to the nitty gritty. All right, here we go. Jalen Daniels. I'm surprised he's this low. I mean, he had some. There were moments where he was considered a sneaky dark horse for the Heisman. I did have them winning a lot more games with Kansas, but they didn't. Their season, and I noticed this with a lot of football players and a lot of teams. After they lost that first game, it just kind of they just slipped. Some teams were able to recover, but other teams did not. They went 5-7. Let me show you their schedule. 2025. Yeah, they lost that Missouri game, and then it was never the same. Okay, you beat up a 1-win Oklahoma State team. That gets you, yeah. I don't know, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch these Kansas games. So I can't be like, yeah, Daniels is why this game was lost. Well, no, didn't watch them. I stopped watching Kansas after I think this Texas Tech game was probably the last one I checked in on, because after they lost that, they're 4-3, and 4-3 teams don't, like, I've kind of noticed myself with college football. The second a team, after the LSU game, Florida LSU, after that game, stopped watching Florida, and then for LSU, I think I stopped watching LSU after the didn't Brian Kelly get like fired halfway through the season? Don't even remember. Especially didn't watch him after he got fired. I stopped watching them after the Texas A&M loss, because this game was huge. This game, okay, because I'll be honest, this game right here, this game is what made me turn in, not a fan of Texas A&M, but made me realize, oh shit, the Aggies might be the real deal. Because this whole time up until here, I was like, okay, the Aggies are overrated. They're overrated. And then to see how there was a 28-point shift from halftime, where they were down at halftime, but then Marcel Reed just put the Aggies on his back. They switched momentum and then ended up blowing them out. And this is also the game I think Nussmeier okay, Nussmeier would get benched the next game against Bama, and then as you can see, he didn't play the final 3 games. Like I just, yeah, I stopped watching him after the A&M game because yeah. Yeah, I thought Gundy would have had at least one more run or something. Cause yeah, yeah. Let me look at okay Aguilar with Tennessee. I watched them the whole way through. Their which game was it? They went 8-5. That Georgia game was probably my favorite one. Ooh, oh, yep. No, I know exactly when I stopped watching them. Kentucky after the Kentucky game. Yep, yep. I remember that because I missed this game. I didn't watch it. Wanted to, didn't get to. And then they lost to Vandy. I don't. I kind of remember that, but not really. Huh. All right. All right. Okay. I watched no UConn games, so I have no clue. All I knew is that his stats were phenomenal, and I haven't seen UConn be a football program and win a lot of games, and he helped them win a lot of games. I could see a team like I don't know, 49ers or Seahawks, or like I could see a team that doesn't need a quarterback. The Bills. The Bills don't need a quarterback, but I could see where they look and hey, what if we get him in the right position where, you know, look at that. Falcons are willing to pay him 70 million. Go have fun. We have Josh Allen, we're good. Cuz I mean, you think about Malik Willis, you think about Sam Darnold, you think about Kyler Murray now. They're we're seeing it especially where like where you are drafted is probably not who you're going to be with for your entire career. And I just they're I don't know. I'm surprised Miami paid Malik Willis. I really am. Um, I'm also surprised they let Tua go. Like I don't know. Haynes King, I think he could be drafted. I would say probably middle of the pack kind of team like the Cowboys, and then it's like oh fetch because, and I kind of feel this way about Morton as well too, where um, he could probably be shit. He could be drafted by Arizona and compete for a starting spot in Arizona. But like there are, you look at all 32 teams in the NFL. Um, Let me go look at teams in the NFL. From an objective standpoint, Dolphins need a QB, Jets need a QB, Browns need a QB, Steelers need a QB. But I'm saying it loosely because we have not seen enough of Will Howard, even though they drafted Will Howard last year. Um, and then Colts, I'd put the Colts on a soft need a QB because how long are they going to go with Daniel Jones? You know what I mean? Um, Texans are going to start having tough conversations, so you can throw the Texans up there. No nobody in the West, because we already know the Raiders are going to get Mendoza. Chiefs don't need a QB. Broncos don't need a QB. In the East, Cowboys need a quarterback. I think Dak Prescott might be the next Sam Darnold, where I would not be surprised if Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl his first year out of Dallas. Would not be surprised one bit. Eagles don't need a quarterback. Washington doesn't need a quarterback. Packers need a quarterback. No. Bears don't. Lions don't. Because I could see Goff being with the Lions for the next 4 or 5 years. Vikings need a quarterback. I don't think Murray's going to get the long-term deal. With the Falcons, Falcons are so weird because they had Kirk Cousins, they had Tua, and they had Michael Penix, and I could see them getting rid of all of them. I really could. I think it would work with Tua if Tua can stay healthy, but there's the problem, he doesn't stay healthy, and yeah, I think Tua is a fine quarterback. I don't with the amount of hate that Tua gets is a little funny, because we were calling him an NFL MVP type of player not more than over a year ago. Panthers are going to need a quarterback. Saints are going to need a quarterback. Cardinals need a quarterback, and Seattle's going to need a quarterback. I know that is a hot take. That is a very, very scorching hot take, considering Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl, but Seahawks just got rid of Kenneth Walker. If Sam Darnold doesn't at least get a playoff win or two this year and next year, Seattle's going to be like, okay, see you later. Dude, don't be... Because look at it this way. I think the Bills would be idiots to get rid of Josh Allen. Because if the Bills get rid of Josh Allen, they go back to irrelevancy. Patriots got rid of Tom Brady. They went into irrelevancy. Even with Joe Burrow, the Bengals still lose a lot of games. But if the Bengals get rid of Joe Burrow, Bengals go back to irrelevancy. If the Seahawks get rid of Sam Darnold, I kind of can't say that same sentiment. It's kind of like with the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. It's weird. I'm kind of... And same with Dak Prescott with the Cowboys, where it's a weird... Lamar... Literally, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Mahomes, Stafford, Purdy, and Goff. Those are the only quarterbacks where it's if those guys leave their teams, their teams would sucketh. All right. I think the Orange Bowl loss probably hurts his draft stock. He only started 3 games, so I don't know. I think his whole dealio with trading from UNLV, I think because that's the other thing too, and I kind of feel this way also with Nico Iamaleava. I kind of said this in one of my videos, that the other thing too with making jokes about Diego Pavia slapping, chicks in a club or whatever, is I think now with the modern NFL with the NIL portal and whatnot, I think the other thing that's kind of it is being watched, but it's not as out there in the open and talked about, is I think with GMs and coaches is they're looking and they're going, oh, Haynes King, you were on Georgia Tech's team when they only won 5 games and you stuck it through. You didn't transfer. you didn't dog on your team and transfer right after spring ball or before spring ball, and like, you know, your team won 10 games and then the next season they only won 8 games. You didn't hit the portal. Like I think that's like a little small little nugget of like evaluating players on, okay, well, we're the Raiders and probably not going to win 17 games in our first year, but I don't know. Like, I think it's probably a case by case study, but I don't know. I'd rather, I mean, if I was a GM or something, I would rather have a player that stayed for, if he could, because again, situations are situational. But if all 4 years he played for the school he originally started at, that'd be sick, and I would love to have that. Versus, oh, you got benched, because of attitude problems or disciplinary reasons, or you kept throwing interceptions, and because you were pissed and upset and couldn't get along with the coaching staff, and so you hit the portal, and then you just kept hitting the portal after hitting the portal. I don't mean it in a shade, like I'm throwing shade away, but like look at Arnold, who was with Oklahoma and then Auburn, and now he's on UNLV, which, by the way, I think UNLV could probably win the Mountain West, either them or Boise State, because it always seems to be those two teams, or Utah State. You can throw Utah State in there too. And you know what, while we're at it, San Diego as well. But I would think, like, if there's a disciplinary problem of like attitude, and like that's why they keep transferring, I don't want that in my building, period. Like, if you're a pain in the ass, you're going to be a pain in the ass when we give you $30 million. Mind blow right there. You like that one? Okay. All right. Let me keep going here. And then again, Sims, I don't know why he's ranked so far down, but it is what it is. All right. Let's go to the running backs. I have noticed that John Coleman has jumped, and also, even since I last looked at it, these two have jumped as well. Singleton and Allen have fallen. If you looked at this about a month ago, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Nicholas Singleton, and Katron Allen, those were the top 4. Coleman's come out of nowhere, which, yeah, I mean, Coleman was really good with Washington. You got, and see, I don't know. I don't know. I knew, like, halfway through the season, Jadarian Price and Love stopped splitting carries, and then Love handled the ball more. And as soon as he took over main carries and touches, that's when his campaign for the Heisman started. I think these two dropped because of Penn State's season, obviously. I think he's probably up here because of how well Texas A&M season was. I cannot speak on these three because I have no clue. I didn't watch any Wake Forest, Kentucky, or Virginia because, again, maybe it's just branding and a logo thing. I've never seen Wake Forest be good at football. Never. Not even once. Keelan Black. Here's the other funny thing, too, is you win a national championship, and it's like, whatever. Whatever. Which, in fact, actually, with this being said, hold on, let me show you. Let me go to the 2025 draft. Dude, look at this. I want to show you this BS, which is kind of why I'm like a little. Okay. Ginty, we know Ashton Ginty was going to be the number 1. But it's like, I'm sorry. These guys are not better than Cam Scattaboo. Okay. That's just my opinion. And funny enough, out of all of these running backs, the one that was like kind of the most productive was Scattaboo until the injury, and RJ Harvey. And oh, he went undrafted. That's sad too. Like, again, dominated at Michigan, and it's like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. Yes, he was with the Bears. I got a lot of undrafted guys. All right. All right. Whittington, I think, could be ranked a little higher. Jay Knott, he was the number one prospect in the portal, but he was dealing with injuries all stinking year. That's why I think he's this low. Surprised that he's this low, considering that like people loved him in the 24 season and the 23 season. So it's like, okay. Jam Miller, same with him. There's another national championship winner, but it's like, yeah, you were the 24th best running back. Okay, whatever you say. Dude, I don't know nobody on this page. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't watching the Panthers or, Tennessee Martin. Sorry. You did not catch me watching a Troy game on a Saturday. My bad. Sorry. Let's go to receivers. Dude, this is going to piss me the hell off. Yep, I'm already pissed. I'm already pissed. I think, all right, let's get into it. Okay. This is something. This is something indeed. He should be probably number one. Let's be real. I'd put him at 2 or 3. I'd put him at 3 or 4. I'd put him at 3 or 4 too. Because, but then from there, top 10. I think Zachariah Branch could be higher. He was phenomenal at USC. Again, why the hell do we even play games? Why do we play the games if it doesn't even matter? If anything, he should probably be the number one wide receiver off the boards. Him. I think he should be in the top 2, top 3. He's a dog. He's good. Again, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Half of these guys, here's the other thing too. Half of these guys aren't even going to get drafted. Chase Roberts. He's good. I think he could be a sneaky day 3 guy. But people will be like, hell no. Heidenreich, I think he could be. I think he could be legit, like a Kyle Juszczyk, Cam Scadaboo type. And I'm not trying to be an ass. Like the Navy versus Kansas State, Navy versus North Texas, Navy versus Army, Navy versus, like, I think I watched like 4. I think I watched 4 Navy games last year, and he had a touchdown in every single one. I read that as Farquad. Oh man, we're really digging into it. If we got to go all the way to Western Michigan and UNLV. You know, the other thing too, when we get to like page 7 and page 8, I think these are backups. These were probably backup guys that never got a real shot, real chance, but they're seniors, so it's like, yeah, go, you know, go see what you can get in the NFL. Yeah, this is not even a debate. He's number 1. Not even a debate. I put Oscar Delp at 2. Just because of well, okay, maybe 3 or 4. This I think he's the one that blocked the punt against Miami. Trying to see any other big names. Nope. The tight end is a position that is getting forgotten a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of an afterthought. Yeah, I don't know any of it. Yeah, where people aren't using the tight ends as much. This guy's out here absolutely frame mogging everybody, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna just say that, considering how I love football, but I'm not a football sicko, I don't watch football for the linemen. I watch football for the entertainment part. So I'm not watching the big boys go at it, but I'm gonna take their word for it that these are the best linemen. Usually, I think, yeah, like Utah has had good linemen in the past. Bama's always a win. Same with Georgia. If you're picking a lineman out of Georgia, let me see if we can find. Because the other thing that I wanted to say too is I was looking for a small school, and it's like, if there's a guy from a small school that people are talking about, odds are he's pretty good. And because someone has watched film enough to be like, yeah, I watched this D2 school, and it's like, you should probably go get this guy. Yeah, I don't know anybody. I'm gonna be absolutely honest. I don't know anybody. So, all right, let's go to defense. Defensive line. He should be number 1. I could, you know what? I could see the Jets getting him too. I would not be surprised if the Jets use their 2 pick to get him, which would not. I wouldn't wish the Jets upon anybody, because it's like, oh geez. But I think the short arms thing is absolute just. It's something to talk about. Like, it's not gonna matter. It's really not. Even with how awful the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, and then blaming Will Campbell's arm length. It, dude, it just, yes, arm length is important, but also just getting manhandled. Because that's the other thing too, is you got to look at like veteran experience versus rookie. He was a rookie. The fact that he's even starting as a rookie is a pretty big deal. But then to be like, your arms are 2 inches too short, you're a bust. It's bullshit. Even with Banger, because you go watch all of Miami's games, him and Mesidor had their hands on every freaking thing, and like nobody was getting past those two. So, Bauer Sharp. Who the hell is Bauer Sharp? I don't know who that is. Alright, here we go. But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know. There's a lot of guys in here I do not know. I think he can be legit. He could be legit. He's good with Penn State. The other thing too, with evaluating Penn State guys, is I think a lot of, case in point, we got like a D2 or D3 school here. If he's ranked 27, he's probably a dude. So someone will pick him up. But if, like, I think the other thing too is like with Penn State, LSU, Florida, like these teams that only won like 6 games, with how high their draft stock could have been, like all of it's going to tank because they'll just look at the record on, oh, this team was absolute dog water. So I would not be surprised if when we keep going through this list, we'll find more teams that were on those high-ranked, SEC Big Ten teams in the preseason, but then fizzled out. Would not be surprised. These two are dudes. They should be fine. See, here's a Penn State guy. Okay, proves my point. From Utah, all right. Utah's had some legit defensive guys lately too, so I think if you pick up a guy from Utah, it could be a steal. Oh, look, more Florida guys. I missed it. Where was Curry? Hold on. Curry from Ohio State. I think this guy's a dude. I think whoever gets him is a steal. I think he's an absolute steal. And then I think Rodriguez is a steal too. I think Rodriguez has fallen even more since the last time I looked. Because again, like it's so. Parts of me wonder if this is stat driven on where they're ranked. Let me check the chat. Haven't looked at the chat in a while. Okay, we're good. All right, let's go look at Edge. Oh, look at that. Will you look at that? He's still number 1. Yeah, he's the number 1 guy to get on defense. Bailey, yeah, that makes sense. Thomas. Texas Tech's defense was pretty good. Seeing a lot of the same names. Oh, that guy's new. Oh, are the Weeks brothers? Where are the Weeks brothers? We gotta have a Weeks in here somewhere. Oh my. Get out of my way. Dude, we're a professional program here. I will have you know, we are not a small media company. Okay. Okay. Makes sense that these two are up at the top. There he is. Jacob Rodriguez. There is no reason this bullshit should be down here at 9. No reason he should be up here with the boys. Because did you look at social media at like one point during the like, dude, this dude was everywhere. But not only that, he backed it up too. And yeah, linebackers are, again, just my opinion. I think linebackers are terribly evaluated. Because, like, just, yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't even know how to, like, what's he doing? Like, what are these two doing? Like, hello, this is like one of your star players on Indiana's defense, and you have him at 23. Huh? But again, I don't make this list. Jack Kelly should be a little higher. I think he's going back. I think he's going back to Oklahoma, so they'll probably update that. But like from just some of like the TCU and the Florida States and the Bamas and Clemson teams and Georgia teams and like there have just been so many like legendary defensive players, and none of them, I don't want to say none of them pan out in the pros, but like it just, the one that I can think of the most is Ben Bulwer from Clemson. Who else? Manti Te'o. Like, dude, Manti Te'o was the dude, and the fact, like, it just so, a little bit of Will Compton too, but that's probably just recency bias. Who else? I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Okay, so for cornerbacks and safeties, I'm just gonna trust that they know what they're talking about, because I don't, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Because as far as I know, a lot of these players gave up touchdowns. So it's like, well, and I don't know how to. I'm gonna be real. I do not know how to grade safeties and corners, and I mean with even what was it, the Stingley year? Because I think both Jamar Chase and Stingley sat out a year, and then it still ended up getting drafted in the top 3. So it's like, if it says that one of these guys are, if it says that these guys are first round guys, they're first round guys. That's probably what it's going to be. Let's go 2026 draft. Let's go to all. All right. So let's do this real quick, and then we'll go around the horn and look at other sports. But for this segment, I think what we could do is look and go, yeah, they're definitely a first round guy. But I think Caleb Downs, definitely a first round guy. Um, yeah, the fake girl. Yeah. I, you know, and I wouldn't be. It would not be far out if, again, distractions and, you know, if the girlfriend distraction was too much. I don't know. And the Saints were like, yeah, we're not having this. I don't know. I don't know. Caleb Downs, I could, because it's either him or Arvell Reese. These two have been to the Jets. You know what? Let's have some fun here. Let's make this interesting. Oh my gosh, I have so many freaking tabs open. I have two, one, two, 8. I have 8 tabs open, and I did not even realize that. Hold on, let's start using some tabs. All right, okay, we don't need that tab. We don't need that tab. We don't need that tab, and we will take this tab. Okay, I had 8 freaking tabs open, and I didn't even realize. Okay. Let's go to the rounds. All right. Okay. I like this. Okay, let me get it. Oh, no. No, damn it. Watch this. Watch me crop this real time. Here we go. Perfect. It was perfect. Down to the last minute detail. Perfect. This is not, well, soft first round draft pick. Mock draft. Okay, so we know Mendoza's going to go here. I could, if it, sometimes these kind of go hand in hand, sort of. So I could see, yeah, New York thing going and getting Caleb Downs. The Cardinals, no. Yes. So, yeah, I could see the Cardinals going and getting him. So then we're at the Titans. I'll be real. I don't think Jeremiah Love has as much pull as an Ashton Jeanty or a Saquon Barkley. But I do think he's a first rounder, but I don't think he's pick number 4 or number 5 or number 6. Maybe pick number 7. So let's go just put him with Washington. But back to pick 4, I could see them getting Bailey. I could see the Giants going and picking up some offensive. Yeah, I could see him going to the Giants. Then we can put Arvell Reese with the Browns. There's your Mansour. I could see him going to the Saints, staying in Louisiana. Jordan Tyson. Ooh, you know what? I could also see Jordan Tyson going to Arizona. Arizona knows how to waste receivers. So, boom, there you go. Stays in the state of Arizona. But if not that, I could see get a little bit of former ASU, but, well, Washington's probably going to pick up Ayuk too, so I don't know if Debo... Well, actually, Debo's not even on the team anymore, from what I've heard and saw, but Scary Terry, Washington, yeah, I could see him being Washington. Saints do pick up a lineman, so I could see him going to the Saints. Jeremiah Love, I'm still going to hammer this home. I still think Love could go to the Chiefs. I really do. I think you pick up, because They brought in Kenneth Walker. You have a two back monster between Love and Kenneth Walker, bruh. And with that ninth pick, because I'm going to be honest, none of these teams are going to go get Jeremiah Love. They're not. They're. I just think it's too much. They got Judkins from last year, and they got the other guy as well, Hennon, I think, and then they got Scatterboo. But if any of these top 14, like they're going to get Mendoza, so it's really realistically it's between these top three teams. If any of these three teams go get Jeremiah Love, they're going to get clowned on because it's like really you are that desperate for like it's this weird, I don't know, like picking running backs. It's like a not on my watch kind of thing. But like everybody wants a running back. It's weird. I don't know. People get weird when it comes to running backs. You don't want to pay them. You don't want them on your team. It's like, what the hell? What the hell? All right, let me move this over a little bit so we can. Damn it! Did it again. Shit. I'm trying to just here. Hold on. Let's go right there. Let's go to round two. Round two. Fight. Let's bring back the. There we go. Where are we now? So we did the Chiefs. So yeah, give me Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs. Bengals. Give me Cam Proctor. They need an offensive line. Dolphins. No, because they got Quinn Ewers last year. Waddle. Jalen Waddle just left. So Kenyon Sadiq. Okay. Cowboys. Cowboys could probably do something like this. Rams. I don't know who the Rams need. Probably a guard or something like that. Ravens. I could see the Ravens picking up a corner. Probably picking up a corner. Sorry, this is super sloppy. Bucks could probably pick up an offensive guy, or like a linebacker or something. The Jets again. I could see them getting a wide receiver and just wasting it. The Lions, definitely an offensive guy, considering with the Ragnow situation. The Vikings, I could see them getting a defensive guy. So we're, how did I not see? How did I? Probably because he was like on page 7 of safeties. Steelers, it's kind of like a. Oh, okay, probably Casey said. Yeah, I could see that. Because it's like, who would look good in the black and gold? Cooper Jr. probably. Probably, yeah. I could see him on the Steelers. Wouldn't mind seeing that. The Chargers, dude, I have no clue who the Chargers need, bruh. And we're just kind of making crap up as we go. Sure, let's do Mezzador. Yep. The other problem is I don't know half of these names either. Oh, you know what? Okay, who are we to now? The Eagles and the Browns. Browns are such a poverty franchise. I could see them going and getting a quarterback. So there's Nussmeier. Whoop. There's your third quarterback off the board. Then the Bears. The Bears will need a running back / receiver. And so I could see them going and getting No. I'm going too fast. One of these two. this one of them, because I didn't think DJ Moore would leave. 49ers definitely need an offensive guy or a receiver. No, they just brought in Mike Evans, which I think them bringing in Mike Evans also leads to them getting rid of Ayuk. Probably one of these offensive guys too, because there's talks that Trent Williams is not going to be around. Texans probably go get a defensive guy, so someone. Dolphins again. I have no clue, bruh. There's 40 freaking pages of names. Who would the Dolphins go get? Dude, I have no freaking clue who the Dolphins would go get. Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure. Jacob Rodriguez. 72? You're telling me there's 71 other prospects that are better than Jacob Rodriguez? You know, actually, no. You don't get him anymore. Because watch this. Watch this. The Chiefs. I skipped the Chiefs on accident. Whoops. Whoops, I did it again. Shit. It just automatically, like, it attaches to the top bar. Here's what we'll have. We'll have the Chiefs going and getting Jacob Rodriguez. We'll have the Dolphins because they want to keep Achane, but they'll get another running back. The Patriots will go pick up like Michael Taffy or something like that. Okay, and then what do the Seahawks do? The Seahawks trade down and away, give it to the Browns or something, and then go get like a running back or a D end or something. Because that's what it ends up always being, is the Super Bowl winner, they just wait on the phone. They're like, anybody want anybody? What are you willing to give? I'm thinking Saints go offense here, given the moves they've made defensively here recently. Yeah. I can see it. I can see the Saints. Where the Saints at? Oh, that's nasty. Best available. Oh, don't even get me started. I'm not even looking at that. Not interested. Nope. You don't need to tell me who's best available. Here we go. Saints. The Saints need an edge, a wide receiver, a cornerback, a guard, and a linebacker. Yeah. And when are the Saints picking? 8? Oh my gosh. They'll edge, wide receiver, cornerback, or guard. With the 8th pick, oh yeah, they'll have their pick of the litter. He'll be gone. I think he'll be gone. If he slides, that's going to be a damn shame. Now, here's what would be funny, is if he slides, but I'm talking like slides to the 2nd or 3rd round, whoever picks him up gets a Hall of Famer. Like, I just think, yeah, that could, okay. But yeah, you got the LSU, I think I even, didn't I? No, he was defense. You were talking offense. Yeah, it's one of them. Carnell Tate. Were we talking that Ohio State guys go to the Saints? So it could happen. It could happen. I don't know. I need to. Here's the thing. Before I do a pre-mock draft, with how I break it down, which in fact, do I have mine? Nope, it's not here. I have my little paper here, and what I've actually done is I've gone in and I've written every single it's so painstaking and it's time consuming. It's absolutely ridiculous. And especially because I do it for free. That's the other thing. I'm not living by the Joker's quotes of if you're good at something, never do it for free. Well, Joker, I got something to tell you. I'm doing everything for free now. But like I'll write down their top needs, and then I just kind of go and I give my own opinion where it's like, oh, this team needs someone on the defense. Well, in my opinion, I think Ruben Bain Jr. is the best defensive guy, and so I put them there. That's what I did with the 23 draft. I don't know if I made a video for the 24 draft. Let's go look. I probably did. It's 2 years ago. Let's go look. 700 views. How the hell did my recent video get 700 views? Oh, okay. It was these. I did a couple of these. Yes, I did a reaction to the, hold on, 24. And I did one for the NBA draft too. Who? What? Because as much as I don't know ball in the NFL landscape, NBA is even worse. Because spoiler alert, don't tell anybody. I don't watch overseas basketball. I don't. So when they're telling me, yeah, this guy played for this professional league in Italy or Spain or something, I'm like, okay, cool. I have no clue. Really, I only made one freaking video. I only made one. Are you kidding me? Well, then what about 2020? Shit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Boo. What the hell? Hold on. What? What? Hold on, guys. It's here. It's here. I know it's here. I'm tripping. Hold on. Let me scooch this over a little. It is right. Whoa. Hold on. Easy now. Did I post it? Like, I remember, like, I posted one of the videos on the 4th of July. That's how I remember it. No, I don't remember if I posted it on the 4th last year or the year before. Because I recorded it, and then I posted it later. Let me... Unbelievable. Scroll into the depths of my channel. Yeah, if you're ever wondering about, yeah, look at this. There's my Yami Liava video of him hitting the portal. I got some tier lists. Alright, it should be somewhere around here. Oh, there's my thoughts. Oh, that's my thoughts on the combine. That's my thoughts about Sam Darnold when he got drafted. He's in April. I didn't make a reaction video to last year's NFL draft. That's funny. That's actually funny that I didn't do that. Did I make a video? Scrolling in the depths. Mic check, mic check. Are we on? We good? There we are. See, now we get to, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's coming back to me now. So we got like our yearly predictions or whatever, and then I made a video about Dak. Like, is Dak Prescott worth $60 million? Spoiler alert, no. No, he's not. NFL top 100. You know. Okay, let's keep scrolling. Did I really not? No, wait. See, there they are. Oh, it's because I titled it weird. Okay, no, there it is. There they are. I titled them all different names. Okay, there we go. All right, people. Feast your eyes. Feast your eyes, lady. There we go. There we go. 2024 NFL Draft. NFL Draft reactions, rounds 2 through 3, rounds 3 and 4, and then rounds 5 through 7. So this was the first round. Oh, no, this was the first round right here, the Caleb Williams. Because, like, we knew, I've been hitting the drum that Caleb Williams, you know, actually, probably one of the most accurate predictions that I've ever had is that Caleb Williams would be the number 1 draft pick. I was predicting he would be the number 1 guy since his time at Oklahoma. Because, I don't know, I thought that if you're the backup for the Sooners and then all of a sudden you win the starting position, you get nominated for the Heisman, you barely miss out on the playoffs. And then just like with what, you know, how he won the Heisman in 2022, like my brain was just like how much media attention that he had. It's like there is no way he's not the number 1 overall pick, because like with how much we were talking about him, it's how much they're talking about Mendoza now. Now who was I super wrong on? Penix. I thought Penix would have been a dog in the NFL. Same with McCarthy. But yeah, these are my video reactions to the NFL draft. Because again, it's different every year. All right, people. We have been streaming for 2 hours. Let's go around the horn real quick. Let's go look at some other stories. And this was another big inspiration for why I wanted to stream today, was they had the NFL players meetings and stuff. And yeah, I wanted to talk about that. And there were a couple videos that I wanted to make too. Because the other thing, which I didn't get to because we did a stream instead, I wanted to do a video. We'll probably have to do it tomorrow. They don't talk about it. Well, there's this. QB, you know, Smith will lead the Jets to the promised land. If the promised land is Arch Manning, sure. Go ahead. But there is the replacement refs. We're going to be talking about the replacement refs. Thought about an idea for LeBron. I don't think, I'm going to be real, I don't think LeBron's leaving LA. No. We could give a preview to the Final Four. I want to make a video on this, but the headbutt, the supposed alleged head bump with the ref and Dan Hurley. The ump, the ABS. I gotta make a video on the ABS. I'm not gonna lie, because it's making a lot of umps look silly. But I think the problem that I have with the ABS is You can't have a series be determined by the ABS like that. If anything, if a series gets determined by the ABS, that's gonna look bad. That's gonna look real bad for the MLB. If we got the Yankees, and the Red Sox. We're in Game 5, a pivotal Game 5 final, winner take all to move to the next round, and we got an ABS determining the Red Sox moving on, or something. That's bad. We can't have that. Let's look at some scores here. That's kind of like a summary of how I feel about the ABS, but I do need to make a video and poke a little bit of fun, because come on, we got to poke fun. Okay, the Bruins beat the Stars 6-3. The Sabres beat the Islanders. Canadians beat the Lightning. Panthers beat the Senators. I still think they're eliminated though. I'm gonna double check. No, they're fighting. They're fighting. Rangers win another one at home. What the hell? Is it 2024? And then the Penguins beat the Red Wings. Saw that one. Capitals beat the Flyers 6-4. Hurricanes take care of business against the Colorado Blue Jackets. The Jets beat the Blackhawks, and the Oilers beat the Kraken 3-0. Good games, gentlemen. Good games. I need to make I'm probably gonna make a tier list. I don't know if I make a tier list now or right when the postseason starts. Still thinking about it. The NBA, here we go, baby. Oh, it was there, but I didn't talk about it. And just the Bulls. That's all I'll say. If you know what's going on with the Bulls, you know what I'm alluding to. Cavs and Lakers. Okay. The Bucks beat the Mavericks. Rockets beat the Knicks. 111-94. Pistons continue to win. Well, hold on. Did the Pistons? I don't think the Pistons won the other day. I think the Pistons lost to the yeah, go figure. Oh, Pistons played the Thunder in Oklahoma City and didn't win? Go figure. Go figure it out. And the other thing that is so stupid about that Pistons game too, push off whatever, like don't care. The fact that, and this is why, like, I want to watch the NBA. Believe me, I want to watch every game. I want to be a part of it. I want to be invested in it. But when we have, hold on, let me cue something up here. Let me end. All right, people on the shorts end, we're gonna do a hard out. Ooh, LeBron James fastest chase down block ever against Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, go play that and get claimed. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't think so. All right, let me boogie on out here. Okay, so end that.